All right, FightHype.com here with the most legendary cut man of all and a great hand wraps guy too. Our man Stitch Duran. Stitch, a lot of hand wrap talk going around a new way in Fulton. What's your thoughts on the situation and everything?
Yeah, I saw it and it's bullshit, right? You know, education is a big key. I know when Canelo fought Triple G, Triple G's camp filed a complaint that Canelo was stacking gauze tape. So Bob Bennett called me because, of course, they wanted the second one. So I met Bob at the gym and I wrapped his hands conventional and I wrapped them stacking gauze tape. And he felt that much of a difference. So the next day he brought in a hand specialist. I did the same thing and they didn't feel that much of a difference, and there's not. You know, as long as you use the same gauze, the same amount of tape as you normally would, the rules require 1 inch away from the knuckles, back. As long as you do that, what's the problem, you know? But there's so many myths in boxing that I always like to educate. So at the end of the day, it's bullshit.
Yeah. What do you make of that term that keeps getting thrown around, stacking?
Well, it's referred to as stacking, and
right,
you know,
right.
I remember Bob Bennett says that you know, they said it's like a cast. Well, that's what you want to create, right? Every time I just wrapped Shaw's hands today, he's a man that feels like a cast. That's what you want to create, but as long as the rule book says 1 inch away from the knuckles, the tape, 1 inch here back, you can gauze tape, whatever you want. So that's bullshit.
Yeah, is it the minor? What is it, like even a 5%, or it's so negligible that it's not worth considering?
Look, listen. Use the same amount of gauze, same amount of tape. What's the difference, right? You put your shoes on one way, you tie your shoelaces different than me. It's the same principle, bro. You know, as long as the knuckles are free from tape and you follow the guidelines, I see no problem behind that.
Are you excited to watch that fight?
I'm leaving. I got a 3 o'clock shuttle to Tokyo. I'm working with Robesi when I get there, so I'm sure I'll be asked a lot of questions regarding that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's not. You know, and that's the thing with this is education is so important. You know, people think that turns into a cast. Well, that's what you want to create. You know, whenever you wrap a fighter's hands, number one, you don't break them, the metacarpal. Number 1 injury, right? So you want to make sure that you lock it in, and some guys do it gauze tape. Other guys do it gauze and then tape. No difference.
That's the whole purpose. You want it to be cast-like.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you favor either guy to win that big fight?
I don't even pick them anymore.
Yeah.
You know, if you ask me the probability of cuts, I think that's slim. If you ask me the probability going the distance, I think that's high. That's the way I pick them. I don't care who wins, who loses. I know them both. I like them both. So how can I like you better than somebody else, right?
Obviously we know you don't have a pick for Spence and Crawford, but what do you think of the fight, Stitch?
Oh no, I think it's good for boxing. You know, I'm working with Jake Paul or with Nate Diaz against Jake Paul the following week. You know, it brings attention to the game, and to have 2 good warriors like Spence and Bud, it's good to see that. The days of Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, well, let's bring that back.
How do you think Nate is looking in preparation for Jake Paul, and how do you think that fight's going to look?
Yeah, you know, Nate's like Tyson Fury. Yeah, you can't teach him how to fight because his style of fighting is like nobody else. So that's a big, benefit for him is that. And I told him, you got to break Jake mentally, you know, and who's better at doing that than Jake, you know, or Nate. So we'll see what happens. I'm just glad to be part of it.
Well, we saw, Tommy Fury up on his toes behind with the jab, but do you think Nate is going to just bring the fight to him? It's going to be more that kind of style?
Nate's Nate. You know, he's going to fight the way he always has. And, like I told him, Jake, I know his coaches and I know him, and they have a very solid basic foundation, and they're going to use that. But look what guys did when they fought Tyson Fury. Vladimir Klitschko, being as disciplined as he was. I could never understand how Tyson Fury beat him until I saw Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder, and tremendous. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you ever remember back in the day watching him and Andre work together?
I knew that they worked together all the years and years. And see, that's another thing people don't realize, that he has that experience under his belt, right? And then Andre's an advisor, so he has a good team behind him. So we'll see. Win or lose, it's up to them.
So how's the movie fame treating you, brother?
Hey, it's crazy. I just got some information from SAG that I qualify for a pension plan. So I got our first big check and monthly checks coming in. I didn't even realize it. I've been in 7 movies. And someone said, yeah, as long as you've been doing it for like 10 years, then you qualify for a pension. So, yeah, movie industry is pretty good.
Yeah, does it feel good to be part of that lineage from Rocky to Creed, and now you're a part of Raging Bull, like you're a part of that, universe?
We're talking about it in the dressing room where, what Mick was to Rocky, Stitch is to Adonis, the new generation, right? And somebody was saying how I got so much airtime, but Keenan Coogler, Brian Coogler's brother, that co-wrote it, Creed 3, he says we gave you a lot of center spots, which is like right in the middle. So yeah, it was nice to get that respect, and just to say that I'm part of that history. I mean, how many guys have done 3 movies with Rocky? Bro, I have. How many guys have done 3 movies with Michael B. Jordan? I have. So for me, those are just accomplishments, and I'm blessed to be part of them.
And good for the sport, right?
Yeah. And I brought guys in, to authentic guys that are the best at what they do. The referees, the cut man, I brought them in because we got to make it authentic.
That had to be why they brought you in, right? Just your look,
the look, it's the look, bro. Of course, yeah. I understand now it's a look, But it's funny because people now are stopping me instead. It used to be, hey man, you were the UFC, and they still do that. But hey man, I just saw you on Creed. So now it's the movies that's giving me the recognition.
Well, thank you so much, Stitch. God bless you, brother. Always good to catch up with you.
Hey man, I'm glad that you're here. I asked you, what are you doing here? But you're here with George, and I'm working with George. So I'm looking forward to work. Good kid, good family. I'm looking forward to working with him.
Oh, you'll be working main event tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I got 4 shows.
What else is new? Always in the main event.
Always, doing what I do. Like I'm leaving tomorrow to Tokyo and do what we do. So.
Incredible life you got going, brother.
La vida loca, bro. I love it.
Rest in peace, Johnny Tapia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Stitch.
Of course.
Thank you, brother.